into some things that are near and dear to my heart. One of the reasons I'm starting this channel, Nona Black TV, want to bring attention to some causes that I think need more attention, that need resolution, and want to be able to research and provide actual things that will make our lives better. And that is to get laws passed. So we need to know steps to get those things done, and we need to focus in on specific things. I am pleased to have you with me today. I hope that you invite others, share the video, like, comment, and subscribe. I want to create a community that's open and that we're able to communicate in the comments, sometime in the future, possibly to do lives so we can debate topics. But the main thing is to be respectful of others, respectful of other opinions, and respectful of all voices. So today, video we're going to start. And the first thing that I want to bring up is about voting rights. As you know, the Supreme Court recently did strike down some of the gerrymandering that was being done in Alabama. Thank God for that. But what we really need is the bill that was sponsored by John Lewis to secure voting rights for all. It's imperative so that every voice counts, so that the things that are most important to us, to our families, that those things are turned into law to be able to affect us. So voting counts two ways. You vote for, or if you don't vote, you're also voting, whether you know it or not. I know a lot of people think that, well, I don't like the candidates. I don't think they're going to do anything on the issues. Whether you vote or not, it's counting towards the laws and things that are going to happen. So there is no room for inaction. Too many people have died to give us the right to vote. I'm originally from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and I'm sure you know Dr. Martin Luther King gave the ultimate sacrifice to go out and fight for equal rights for us. He was daily, his family, not only him, his family, those around him were constantly in danger. They were constantly under threat of his life. And so that we have a better life today than then, he gave the ultimate sacrifice at a great cost to him, his family, and to us. So it is imperative. Also, Medgar Evers was killed supporting and trying to allow the people in Mississippi to get the right to vote, equal representation. As we know, the Constitution was created. When it was, there was still slavery. But it is a document that has to live, a democracy that we have to make a breathing, living document that evolves as our nation evolves. There are good people in every race. And then there are some bad people in every race. You know them, they're your relatives, they're your friends, and also they're your coworkers or people you know. So it's imperative that we focus on trying to do what is right. We're not going to always agree, but democracy is for majority rule. So, but it also offers an opportunity for those who may be in the minority to also have a voice. So we must keep that in mind. And we need to be more quick to listen than always to be trying to make someone understand our side. We also have to listen and understand their side. And then sometimes we are going to have to agree to disagree. But there are times that we can find middle ground and agree. So, in order to get the voting rights bill passed, no matter what either politician is telling you, we have to have the Congress a majority, we have to have the Senate a majority, and we also have to have a president who will sign that bill. Okay? Presently, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are in office and they're Democrats, yes. So, in order for them to be able to pass a voting rights bill, right now, the majority of the Congress is Republican and not Democratic. So, with us not having that, that impedes the ability for them to get the voting rights bill through. And you say, okay, well, they did, but the majority was so slim, as you know, and then we have a couple independents, Democrats leaning more right, so we didn't have enough of a majority. So that is what we got to work toward going into the 2024 election. We need to control the Congress, the Senate, and the presidency. Another way to explain how important this is, a lot of people say, well, Obama didn't do this, Obama didn't that. Yes, the 2 years that he did have all of those houses, he was passing and doing things. But as you remember, the economy was imploding and in a ditch, and he was trying to save us from completely going under, which he did with tremendous job growth by the end. But by the second term, he did not have the Congress. He did not have control of the Senate, and he did not have control of the Congress, but he still had the presidency. So he was able to get some things done, but nowhere near as much as we would like to have get done. So we have to take responsibility for our part in that. We cannot not vote. We cannot be inactive and not be proactive. If you don't vote, it's a vote for the other side. So if you don't vote for a candidate who will agree to sign the bills that's most important to you, your vote is going to the other side, because that's one less vote that may have helped us get the majority, and that's one less vote that may be something that you're against, that you want to vote, have a representative vote against. Imperative 2, who is your state senators? Who's your state representatives? Who's your senator in the United States Senate? And you need to know all of your representatives, and you need to know their number. You need to know how to call them, and you need to know how to email them to follow up. They need to hear from you, not only when you vote, they need to hear from you your priorities. Hey, this is most important to me. When this bill comes up, things we need, infrastructure. We need another thing, and we could talk about that too, maybe on another state of politics, is the cost of unaffordability of housing. It's so expensive. So, main points I want to make sure that we fully understand what's needed to get laws passed. And it's not just the voting rights. There are other laws that definitely are equally as important, like the gun rights bill, background checks for everybody, close any loopholes, make sure no one who shouldn't be having a gun, not have a gun, even if it's a temporary red flag or something, even if there are things, a better reporting system, better mental health, the Affordable Care Act has in there for medical and for mental health. So it is robust, but we need to have it more. So it has to be used. If it's in there and you don't use it, then we're not getting the benefit. So we need to make sure what are the things that we can do to ask our elected officials to make it more accessible and to get it out to the public so that it can be used, so we can know more about the Affordable Care Act, what our rights are, and the plans. It's here. We need to use it, especially if it's applying to whatever situation you have with your health care. You need to know what the laws are and how it can be used to your benefit. That's why it was passed. Amen. Also, and it eliminated some of the lifetime limits. It eliminated the conditions so that they couldn't deny you. If that law is ever rolled back, insurance companies are going to go right back to, oh, no, we can't pay that. It's a pre-existing condition. They will do it. So we have to be vigilant. We have to know who's running, need to know who's running locally, who's running, statewide, and then who's running nationally, and how they're voting. And hey, if we vote them in, and that particular representative, state representative, national representative, if they're not doing the things that we need when we know we've given the tools with them, with the control to be able to get the House, get the Senate, and the presidency, once we know we've done those things and we've done our part, and then it's not, then vote them out. Vote that one out and get another one who will. So that's what we need to focus on. Secondly, of course, we know President Trump was indicted for the top secret, confidential papers that were taken down to Mar-a-Lago, and the special counsel gentleman is moving forward. He's been charged. He's been indicted. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. But we do know that they seized the actual documents and stuff at Mar-a-Lago. I think that's not in dispute. Trump has admitted to having the documents, so that part is not in dispute. Also, he is moving forward. He's providing discovery already, so that part is moving along. We need to be vigilant in keeping up with what is happening. The counts, if you haven't read it, I remember I printed it out myself to read because I wanted to understand it for myself. So we have to make sure that we're engaged and know about these things because it affects someone. As you know, the past election, even though President Biden won, almost close to the second part of the country voted for President Trump. So when you're speaking to others, whether you want to explain to them why, you feel like they should go this way or they should go that way, they have a right to feel how they feel and believe how they want to believe. But you should have an educated way to communicate the benefits and the negatives, and also know that even though you may disagree with someone, that doesn't mean they're evil. You have to take people by the contents of their character. All right, so that's most important. But couple things I did want to bring out about that. The main thing about it is our national security. So the documents that he had, they were saying were nuclear, had to do with our nuclear capabilities. It has to do with our military capabilities and possibly some vulnerabilities of us and our allies. This is no joke. Are you shook yet? You should be, because if that information is being kept unsafe or shown to people who shouldn't be shown to, you may not see it as yourself being unsafe, but it's like you sitting in your house and someone has the door unlocked and you're unaware. I don't know about you. I don't want to lay down at night with my door unlocked and I'm unaware. Because it's that important. Anything could happen. Anything bad could happen. And this is why, because it's open. We have to drill down on these things and the importance of it. It's just not a talking point. It is important because it makes us unsafe. It makes our military unsafe. The people who put their lives on the line for us every single day, who sacrifice, who go to the bat for us, who leave their family and their homes, and they're in hard conditions, but they do it because they love the country. They want their families to be safe. They want their brothers to be safe. I've Many of my family has served in the military, and I, whenever they're there, or even for any day to pray for our military, we should care that we want the best for them. We want them to be covered. We want them to be safe. We want them to have the things that they need. That is another reason it's important. So this is just not some fly by night, something that we shouldn't care about. I know we have a lot of things going on in our lives, but it's more than, oh, President Trump, ex-President Trump did something again. No, it's affecting us and our safety now, today. Who has the information, if it was shared, and what do they plan to do with it? Are you shook yet? You might want to be shook. Also, the next topic that I did want to bring up, which is also very important. As we know, it's the anniversary of the Dobbs decision about a woman's right to choose. I am not pro-abortion, but I am pro-choice, because the intimacy of what happens with a woman's body when they are in the stages of pregnancy coming. A lot of people may not know that, but there's a whole different cycle. I'm a mother of two, so I have two children. Well, they're young adults now. And I also am a person who's had miscarriages. So in the process of a conception to the time of birth, or in between that time, if something happens and a pregnancy is not able to come to term, or ectopic pregnancy or anything in that, it's such a sensitive nature. And to be honest, it's no one's decision but the people who involved, the mother, the father, their doctor, and whatever God and their relationship with God, because ultimately they're the one who has to answer for it. And even in a situation with the woman in a pregnancy, may not know early. Of course, I'm here in the state of Florida, and you may not know you're pregnant between down to 6 weeks, because most women don't even know they're pregnant until after they miss their first cycle. Or you may be in a stage where you're taking a pregnancy test and it says you're not pregnant, but then you're feeling some issues or type of way. You go to your doctor and the blood test says you are. But the formation may not come all the way to term. And so at that time when you go to your doctor, he has to be able to treat you. He can't treat you because some law from people who don't know you, who won't help you. If people who are pro-life care about a fetus before it's formed, till it's forming, in the process, you cannot care about them then and then don't care about them getting here, and not care about the mortality rate of young fetuses and the mother. Because the best thing for a viable fetus is a healthy mother to help take care, and a father supporting to take care of a child. So that's my opinion, and I know others may have their own opinion, but the law matters. So a lot of women are suffering, a lot of young ladies are suffering, and they need to be able to go to their doctor, and whatever the decision, whatever happening in that situation between them, their doctor, whatever their spiritual deity is, connection, because they ultimately have to live with the consequences of what's going on with the decision. And I believe it's blatantly unfair for others to be in a decision like that when it's such a hard time to know that you maybe have conceived, the baby may not fully form correctly or form, and then you go to your doctor and he can't treat you, he can't help you, or be forced to take a fetus to term when it's not viable and it's just sitting, or have a fetus deceased inside you and then you're still carrying a fetus because they want to allow the doctor and you to make a decision. I've never had an abortion, but I know it's one of the most hardest decisions any woman would have to make, and I don't think they take it lightly. But it is a personal decision because ultimately you want the best for your child, you want the best for your family. And if the people who are saying that they care so much about it, why don't you care enough to stop this gun violence when our children go to school and then they can't be at peace at school? How can you care about a fetus forming and coming to fruition and not care about a fully developed child sitting in a classroom and they're so scared for any sound they think a shooter is going to come in and kill them and mow them down? Make it make sense. That doesn't make sense. It's the same as if I would go inside someone's doctor visit and say, well, he says he wants to do this, but I say do that with your body. It doesn't make sense. It's such a stage between the process of a fetus being formed, and it's more, people have miscarriages at different times in that process. And it's a hard thing to go through, and to have extra weight of people outside of you finding out, communicating with your doctor and seeing what's happening, or you're trying, or the doctor trying to convey to you that, you know, the baby tried to form, it didn't form. To be in that process, it's hard to explain if you never had a miscarriage. But I'm like, then you're telling me someone who doesn't know me, who doesn't care about me, who's never contributed to my life, who's not going to be there with me across the time, whether the baby is able to be completely formed, healed, and birthed or not, has the right to say so over my body and our finances and how we are going to live. And also over my grief if for some reason my body naturally miscarries at no fault of my own, no fault of anyone's. It's the baby, if for some reason it just didn't develop, everything just didn't come together. And it's a natural occurrence of it not fully coming through, and then you may have bleeding or whatever in the situation. But I can't go to my doctor and have my doctor help me to make sure that I can possibly have a child in the future, or take care of me so that I don't get septic or sick. That doesn't make sense. We need to do better. America needs to do better. So, to do that, we've got to pass some laws, because as we see now, they can come up individually in the states, individually across the nation, and come up with the draconian laws, but they affect us. And that's what someone to know, our young people to know. You have to be involved. You have to participate. No, it may not be the candidate you want. No, it may not be the candidate you feel will work in your best interest, but sometimes you got to pick the lesser of the two evils, and then you need to be working on trying to get a better candidate to get done what you need to get done. But you cannot do nothing. Inaction is not uh inaction is not an option. Inaction is not going to work because in your inaction, you're making a decision, and a lot of times that means it's allowing others to have control over your body, over your finances, over your community. You have to use your voice. That's why I led with voting, that it's most important. All right. Thank you for listening to me today. It's just a very new thing starting, so we're going to get better. We're going to have some bells and whistles for you, but I do want to be able to continue to bring up topics that are near and dear to my heart, and also engage with you, my audience, and want you to, so you can send topics in, and then I can research on it, and then we can be able to talk about it in the comments. And I want to know your position. Also want to be able to work on what are the solutions. How can we move the agendas, the things that we want done forward? So that's why I'm here. I hope you've enjoyed the first session of State of Politics with Nona Black TV, and I hope you'll come back for more and also interact with us on the topics. And what I want to know, what resolutions do you have? Because sometimes we can put our heads together and come up with a best practice so that we can move it together. Also wanted to do this as well to build a community. A lot of people may feel depressed, may feel alone, may work from home, and just want to have a friend, someone they can just, say, hi, how are you doing? Well, want you to know someone's thinking about you today. You're loved. You're not alone. And I want you to be okay. All right? So, my closing. May the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent one from another. Until we meet again. This is Nona with Nona Black TV.